All right, let's make sense of this moment. Bring in our guest, Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, is a political analyst who joins us now to weigh in on perhaps what we should be thinking about in the lead up to this hearing. Prof, always great to get your take on these issues. Thanks very much indeed for making time. I suppose amongst the many questions being asked here is whether the ANC has simply left this too late in some instances.
Thank you very much, Ayanda, for having me. There is no political party on a global scale under normal circumstances that will allow a member to have a dual membership or to wear two caps, whereby on the one hand, you have a footprint in your party. On the other hand, you are encouraging people to vote for other political parties as opposed to the party that you purport to be belonging to. That is a very irrational argument. And it's got nothing to do with hating this person or that person, because sometimes that argument is used to blackmail other people who are trying to be critical of the decision of a particular member to encourage people not to vote for his party. So the ANC has been dragging its feet. The ANC has been sensing a danger that if it disciplines Zuma, that will escalate the magnitude of the conflict within the party, and that will lead to the losses of the party and then lead to the gains of Umkhonto weSizwe. But in any case, even though they have been avoiding that, that is exactly what has happened, because the ANC has been the biggest loser and the party of Jacob Zuma has been the biggest winner. So I think they should have expelled him long time ago. And also made him not to be part of the party anymore, because I think he has really costed the party in a big way. And interestingly, this is one person that at some point used to take a swipe at other breakaways of the ANC like COPE and EFF, but now has done exactly that. So it begs the question as to what gives him the right to do what he has done, given the fact that he has been critical of other people who have done the same thing in the past? Yeah,
it sounds to me that you reckon the outcome of this hearing is a far gone conclusion.
I mean, what else can it be? I think the ANC has no choice. I mean, the ANC has been dealt with a blow in a big way, partly because of this breakaway. So I think it will have to do the right thing. I mean, there is no party that can tolerate. This is, in my view, ill discipline. It's ill discipline. You cannot belong to a party, but then you don't want to campaign for that party. You encourage people not to vote for that party, to vote for another political party. I mean, why are you a member in the first place?
Yeah, well, the question becomes whether it matters if the former president actually even rocks up for this hearing. As I mentioned earlier, the hearing itself will be virtual. He had asked for it to be a physical one, and the speculation, of course, is that the MK was hoping to ride on the coattails of that spectacle, right, of having people gather at Luthuli House. I'm sure they know the cameras would be there, and, you know, they'd use that platform for whatever messaging they have. The ANC, of course, has decided to go ahead with this virtual sitting. And yeah, does it matter if Zuma is part of it, given what you've just laid out?
Either way, whether he comes in person or he joins online, Msholozi has nothing to lose. He has everything to gain, because he has achieved his objective, in my view, which is to weaken the ANC, because the electoral performance of the ANC of late has been the worst since 1994. And I mean, he's got nothing to lose. Even I doubt very much, though, if he will come, whether online or in person. But if he does come in person, that also will give a platform, in my opinion, to Umkhonto weSizwe. Not to say that the ANC must not attend to the matter, because people might be outside the headquarters of the ANC, maybe chant some slogans, start singing, and you know, the party of Zuma will get media coverage, and with his sympathizers, they will project him as a victim. But I think the ANC should have acted long time ago, because what they were avoiding has actually happened, meaning that the ANC has not done well, and the tensions within the ANC have been worse. So yeah. I think they need to act, and they have no choice, in my view, but to let go of the person.
Sure, the clouds have been gathering for some time. Some people have said this has been a long time coming. But I suppose, Prof, it should not be lost to us just how much of a moment that would be. I mean, Jacob Zuma, once upon a time, not too long ago actually, was the most powerful person in this organization. And today we may very well see the same body kick him out because of, what's taken place since the launch of the MK party. This is still a big deal, unprecedented in many ways.
Of course, I think his behavior, like I said earlier on, it does constitute ill discipline. Because, how do you, I really cannot understand, how do you encourage members of your party and people in general not to vote for your party and still call yourself a card-carrying member just because you are discontent about the leadership or the president of that party, and then coin a phrase that this is so-and-so's ANC. But during your time, he used to address people in rallies that it's not his ANC, the ANC belongs to the people must never leave the ANC because leaders come and go, and he was doing the exact opposite of that. So, it's crazy. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So the ANC has only one way out, which is to let go of him permanently. Otherwise, the problem is not going to go away, and the ANC will be hurt more.
Sure. I can't, I can only imagine what he's likely to say after that. The next time he speaks, one can only imagine what is likely to come out of his mouth. But, I suppose what's also worth speaking about is the lessons that the governing ANC might need to draw from this. As I mentioned, in many ways, it was difficult to kind of predict that things would have gotten here. The party itself has never been in a position where they've had to expel someone like their president. And I wonder if you reckon there have been lessons learned along the way about how to deal with dissent with someone of the stature of a Jacob Zuma, who, if he announces that he's severing ties, will do so at a great cost to the organization.
Show me any party that is stable, that tolerates ill discipline. I can bet my bottom dollar we'll never find that party. Discipline is the lifeblood of any political party. It becomes worse when you have a party that subscribes to a socialist or a Marxist and Leninist organizational model. Issues of what is this concept? Democratic centralism. There have been decisions that have been made by HQ, by the mother body, whereby Msholozi has defied them, whereby his people, including himself, he broke ranks, spoke against those. At some point, he wrote a scathing letter against his own president. So the ANC should never have tolerated that. They should have acted. I understand that at some point, there were two ANCs, the ANC of Jacob Zuma and the one that is legitimate, so to speak. And people were just, provoking the leadership, in my opinion, defying orders in public. But the ANC tolerated that. So that passive behavior has catched up with the ANC.
Sure. Dr. Ntsikelelo, breakfast, not mincing your words this morning. Thanks very much indeed, as always, for speaking to us. We appreciate your insights. Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, of course, a political analyst, as we count down to the start of that hearing from the ANC, of course, as they look forward, or as they look towards finally bringing some kind of end to the issues around their former president, Jacob Zuma. We don't have a time, by the way, which is why I'm stalling a bit. But as soon as we're able to establish that, we'll certainly bring that to you here on the SABC.